Hello students, let's consider question number 5. It says that we have a shell which is projected vertically upwards and it explodes into 3 identical fragments at the top of its flight. After explosion, one fragment moves vertically downward and hit the ground at t1 time while other two hit the ground at t2 time. And gravity is g, then we need to find the height above which this explosion took place. So that is the question. I just read this question. Now let me explain what the solution is going to be. So we can think of, let's say this is ground. Here this is the ground. And you have thrown a ball. Let's say this ball is of 3m mass. And it got to up to height, let's say this is capital H height, which was its topmost location. At this topmost location, it got fragmented into 3 elements. So one element is, let's say this, another is this, another is this. Each are of identical mass, so they are going to be of m mass. One particle returns back, it says, or it says moves downwards. So one will have this velocity. Let's call it as a u1 or something like that. So let's say this is v1 velocity in the downward direction, and it is going to take t1 time to return back. So this will follow the same path, straight line path, and it will come in t1 time. Okay, and there are 2 particles which are going to move some sort of this. So there will be linear momentum conservation, So horizontal components are going to be identical, vertical components should be identical because it is taking same time, because time of journey depends on the vertical motion, vertical velocity only. So let's say this vertical component is v2. This vertical component is going to be v2. There's going to be some horizontal components, they are going to be identical, so that they are getting cancelled out. Now this is going to follow this kind of parabolic path, this is going to follow this kind of parabolic path, and they're going to head downward in time t2. So this time is t2 time. So we can write the equation for both, right? So for first particle, you write it has to displace how much? Minus h downwards. Gravity is acting downside, right? So displacement is minus h. We are going to apply the equation y is equal to ut plus half at square for particle 1. So for 1 it's going to be like displacement is minus h is equal to initial velocity is minus v1 t, g is minus g, so it's going to write minus g into t1 square. This is for the particle 1. For particles second and third, they are behaving identical for the vertical motion. So we can write it's going to have a displacement again minus h, but its velocity is v2 in the upward direction, so it's a positive, t minus half gt square. Gt is going to be t2. So initially it was t1, now it's a t2. So that's equation number 2. From these 2 equations, we need to find h. T1 is known to us, T2 is known to us, G is known to us. V1 and V2 are 2 unknowns. So there are number of unknowns are V1, V2 and capital H, right? So we need a third equation as well. So in horizontal direction, the component will be balanced, the linear momentum will be conservation. In vertical direction, we can also apply the linear momentum conservation. Now there's going to be gravitational force acting, so you might think like gravitational force is there, how we can go for the linear momentum conservation. Then you will say gravitational force is non-impulsive, it's a constant force, so explosion takes place in very short span of time, so linear momentum can be conserved. So following that thing, we can say m mass is moving with velocity v1 in the downward direction plus 2m mass are moving upward with velocity v2. Thus the final momentum is equal to initially it was at rest. Why? It was at the topmost location, so initial velocity was 0. Basically it will give us a relation between v1 and v2. So let's say v1 we are finding it's going to be equal to twice v2. So that's the third equation. Now you can solve for v1 and v2 and h. The question demands for h, so we can eliminate v1 and v2. For that sake, what we can do is we can substitute the value of v1 on this first one. So we can write it as let's say multiply by minus 1 and divide by t1, so it's going to be like h by t1 is equal to v1. In place of v1 we are writing twice v2 plus is going to be like half g t1. Now if we use this equation, so this equation is going to be h by t2 is equal to v2, and we are multiplying this is with minus, so this is going to be minus v2 and this is going to be plus half gt2. Okay, now what we can also do is we can multiply this equation by 2. When we multiply this equation by 2, so there's going to be 2, there's going to be 2, there's going to be 2. Now this will help us to simplify these two equations. Now you can add these two equations, right? If you add, they will get cancelled out. So from here we will get it like h by t1 plus 2 times h by t2 should be equal to half g t1 plus gt2. Now here h is the only unknown, we can find it out after simplification. So if you take this h as the outside, which is you can call it as a common, then you will get it like t2 plus 2t1 divided by t1 t2. And on this right hand side we can take this g by 2 as a common, so this is going to be t1 plus 2t2. From here we can say h is going to be equal to t1 t2 will be upside, so it's going to be g t1 t2 divided by 2 into upside we are going to get like t1 plus 2 t2, and in the denominator this term will appear, so that will become twice t1 plus t2. Now look at this expression. This expression is in terms of g, which is known to us, t1 t2 which are known to us. So this will become your final expression for height. That means this is behaving like your answer. So that's your answer. Understood? Okay, thank you.